Hopefully this is working properly. I can't tell because YouTube is weird. It acts like I'm not talking into my mic, even though I am. Now I'm like, maybe I should turn that up. I don't know. What's up, folks? You guys hear me okay? YouTube is an interesting, I don't know, I don't like this studio. It doesn't show me that my mic is working proper, but I think it is. Hard to say. What's up, Scouser, Kenny, Angie, Martha? What's up, Chris? What's up, Blade? Azriel? Yo, what's good? Tim, what's up? Hello, Octavia. Sandman, what's good? All right, sounds good. That's good. I went to the barber shop. You know what I'm saying? I'm not really. You know what's so funny is I had this beard for so long that I took it down and I'm like, I don't like it. I should grow my beard back again. I don't know. What's up, Robert? What's up, Slappy? What's up, Rich Felix? Tim, it's good. Oh, Solo, how you doing? What's up, Thomas? 10 years younger? I don't know. I feel like without this beard, I don't know. I like the beard being longer now. It's weird to like not have it. I got used to it, I guess. Yo says my face looks better now. We can see you. I don't know. I like the beard. Maybe somewhere in the middle. A little longer than this, but not crazy like it was. Maybe I'll settle in there. What's up, Roland? McMahon, what's good? If I missed anybody, what's up, Chris? So yeah, guys, I wanted to just chat a little bit about things I hope that the whole thing displayed properly, because like I said, this YouTube studio is weird. First and foremost, I'm gonna tell you guys this real quick off the jump. A lot of videos are gone from the channel. I deleted tons of them today. Mostly old ones that nobody, was watching anyway. Shield setup videos are still there, but I'm gonna do a new one. I'm gonna do, redo a couple videos just in a better way, given everything that's going on. But that's that, so if you guys were looking for a particular video and you don't see it no more, that's why. It was, I was cleaning up just to not be, not give them any reason to try to mess with my channel, since they haven't as of yet. Just figured if they come looking, not too bad. Nothing too bad on it. But yeah, guys, I wanted to share with you guys, because, not just in the streaming community. I know it gets talked about in the streaming community, but it gets talked about all over the place. Ideas of, what it means to be your own boss, what actually that entails. And that's going to be different for everybody. But I figured I could give you guys a bit of an insight into things that I've done, mistakes I've made, things I did right along the way of deciding that I wanted to become an entrepreneur of sorts in a way, and still working on that to this day. Anytime you make your own business, that is the definition of entrepreneurship. So it's something that I enjoy a lot, and I feel like I see a lot more happening in general with people, which is why I was like, let me definitely touch on it a bit. And especially in this day and time too, with the virus going around and things like that, so many people lost their jobs. I'm sure a lot of people have looked into this kind of stuff, so I figured it was a decent time to mention it. What's up, Santos? Yeah, it's something to talk about. I've done this quite a few times, in different ways. I first made like a doing business as for my regular name, so that I could just take checks and stuff like that back in the day, on that. And that was actually funnily enough, on that was sort of like a photo business, but not for photography. It was more for development and printing of pictures back before everything was digital. So I've been at this a long time, like all this stuff. That was just a DBA under your own name. That's okay. It's easy to do. It doesn't even cost all that much to get done. And it just allows you to either open up a bank account under your DBA or allow you to get paid from somebody. You can charge them, like, saying, hey, my name is, Joe Knows Photo, and you can get a check on Joe Knows Photo as long as your bank knows that that's your DBA, then you can cash that check. That's basically all the DBA does. Doesn't afford you any kind of protections from being sued. Anything that happens with that business that you're DBAing can come right to you if there's an issue. That was the first thing I did. Then, I started working for a large company. I've been there for over 20 years now, and I've had the ability to work for this company and dibble and dabble into, we'll get to LLCs, Azrael. Dibble and dabble into creating my own businesses while working for them. And that's, I'm fortunate to have been able to do that. So not a lot of people do that. There's a lot of people trying to do it now that didn't think about it ahead of time. And then they may have lost their job and said, oh man, I'm going to spend, whatever I got left trying to make a business now and doing something. And, so for those kind of people, I'm hoping that some of the stuff I say here will save them some money and save them some time, some headaches, stuff like that. Basically, after I did that DBA under my actual name, then like I said, I was working for this company. I started messing around. One of the first things that I had done a lot of things without registering anything. They were sort of just like me as myself, trying things out. And I definitely highly suggest people do that before you go out and pay to create an actual business. Try something out. It's not against the law to take a payment for something under your own name. So you can certainly do that. It's not like that's illegal to do. You just don't want to be doing it all day, all the time. That's not, what I mean? But you can try things out before you decide to form a business. That happens all the time. So you have to worry about that. So the next one I actually did that I formed a business on, it was a 3-way partnership that I made with actually Cell, and he's probably not in the chat right now, and my buddy Potelu, and we actually created a business to make that Fight Rant YouTube and a whole Fight Rant website, and we were gonna just we had ideas that we would be commentators on the internet for combat sports, whether it was MMA, boxing, all that stuff. We were gonna do podcasts, but while we didn't do too bad at that, it wasn't something, it was a very crowded field. And it wasn't something that I made the mistake there of creating the business right away. And I didn't have to, you know what I mean? It was a YouTube channel and a website. But I said, no, like I got excited. I'm going to do this. And my friends were in, and we were going to just all do this. And I created that business, and I paid to get that business created. I think it costed me about $800 because we registered it in Florida where Cell lives instead of registering it in New York, or it would have costed more. We opened a bank account, we got business cards, all that kind of stuff. There's Cell. What's Gully Cell? So yeah, I mean that's something we did. I was just talking about Fight Rant, Cell. I think Cell, it was maybe like a month ago, he sent me a photo of the debit card that he had. But yeah, I mean, we did that. And Cell still operates the Fight Rant Instagram account. We just haven't, the YouTube channel still exists. You guys can look it up if you want to watch some of our old stuff. It was kind of funny. But that was a situation where I didn't need to create a business, and I did. And then ended up costing me money to do that. So that's why I tell you guys, if you're trying to do something for yourself for business, don't just spend all your money right away to make that business. That's something that you want to make sure that, you go to a certain point where you're like, either I know for sure I want to do this, or I know for sure I'm starting to make money. So now I need to get to have this as a business for sure. Then, there's a point where you just go, all right, now it's worth it. I definitely got to do it, protect my assets. And like Azriel said, LLC earlier, that's what I have now for my own business. And my business basically now is able to encompass everything. I mean, I use that business to partner with Nord. So when I sell VPNs, it's under that business. But the way I set that up is, it's like my main LLC is there, and I have, right now I'm using DBAs. I can DBA as my photography business, so it's still there. But I can also, if I make enough money from the photography business, then I can turn around and say, all right, instead of DBAing this, let me create another LLC and make that separate. Because the reason you want to do that, and you don't want to have it all under the same one, I'll explain that to you guys too. Depends on what you're doing. Thanks, Brian. I appreciate it. What happens is when you make an LLC, right, you are essentially, for the most part, you are protecting your personal assets from your business assets. So if somebody doesn't like something you did in your business and they want to sue you, they can only sue the business. They can't sue you personally. So if you own a house, your own personal bank accounts, they can't go after that stuff. They can only go after the business. And that's obviously very important depending on what field you're in. Think about photography, right? Because that's what I'm going kind of heavy on right now. What's up, Kiko? I take a job as a photographer, and I'm going to go and shoot somebody's wedding. And I go ahead and I shoot that wedding, and I don't realize it, but after I'm done with the wedding, my SD card craps out, and I lost all those photos. I could get sued for that, That's a bad situation. It's a once-in-a-lifetime thing, hopefully, for whoever I was shooting the wedding for, right? And I didn't take proper precautions, theoretically, you could say, to, back up the data as I was taking it. I get home, SD card's no good. Wow, how would you feel if you're the client? You would have every right to be very angry with me. Obviously, I'd have to refund you your money. But beyond that, you could say that I caused you whatever, some kind of personal trauma, especially, if it's like Bridezilla or something like that. You know what I mean? And then sue me for that. So if I didn't have a separate business for that, right, you could sue me for my house. I mean, I doubt this example is going to get you my house. You know what I mean? But you could try. With an LLC, they can't do that. They can just sue the business. So if I have assets in the business, they can determine that maybe that person's owed like $5,000 from me. Here's $5,000 because I messed up your wedding, and that's it. It's over. That's assuming the business has $5,000. If the business doesn't have $5,000, they can't get $5,000. At least not now. They would maybe get a payment plan for later or something like that. You can make agreement, whatever the case is. But that's the main advantage of LLC. However, if you're like me and you have multiple businesses, there comes a point where you can do one of two things. You can either create LLCs under your LLC. So like my LLC, Supreme Tech Media, could make an LLC called Lee Aaron Photography, right? Underneath it. But here's the problem. If I do that, and then let's say I make another one that says like NordVPN Partner LLC, let's just say, right? And I also put that under my main umbrella. You could call it like an umbrella on top, right? It's the parent company and all these other ones underneath. The problem is if you put enough of those underneath there and one of them gets sued, they're able to sue the parent company. So all the money that comes from the other ones also ends up with that parent company, and there's a way to hurt you a lot worse. So it depends on what kind of business you do. If you do a business where a large, chance of being sued or something like that is not, thank you, Kiko. where you don't have a chance to be sued for a lot of money, that kind of structure is good and it saves you money. You could also just do DBAs underneath each. You could have one LLC and make a DBA for every, everything you want to do, so that you're just able to take money under that name, basically. That's all it does. So you have that. Those are basically your options. The last option is to create completely separate entity LLCs for each business. Now you're talking about thousands of dollars by the time you're done. If like most people, for the first one, I would recommend, if you've never done it before, go to LegalZoom, because they do charge more. But if you've never done it and you don't know what you're doing, they do a damn good job, and they give you some really nice stuff, with the different packages. But you got to understand the also different types of LLCs, right? So depending upon what you're doing as your business, depends upon how you should set that up. If you're just doing something very small for yourself, you can just get a DBA under your own name, take money right into your personal bank account. If it's not something where you're really at risk of being sued. If you have one business and you could get sued, LLC that one business, give it a name, do your business under that. You're going to need a EIN if you go to LegalZoom, they'll help you get the EIN. They'll get it for you. You need an EIN, and you're going to need a business bank account. And be very careful. You want to put as much money as you can for your business into your business bank account and pay everything out of that business bank account. Because if you start crossing money back and forth all over the place and you get audited one day, it's crazy. But you got that option. And then if you have multiple businesses, you have to decide. That's where you have the choice. You definitely need at least one LLC. You can make other LLCs under. You could just do DBAs under that one LLC, or you can create completely separate LLCs. Your most protected route is a completely separate LLC, obviously, for everything. However, then you need a separate bank account for each business. With the umbrella, where you have one company with others underneath, you only need one bank account, but then somebody can come after that one bank account. So that's kind of your options there, But it's also, what happened there? I missed what Cell said here. DraftKings from McGregor. Yeah, I'll make one for it. I missed what Kiko originally said, because I see Cell says it's the beard at Kiko. But I can't see where Kiko said something before that. Oh, looking trimly. Okay, I got you. That makes sense now. I missed that one in the middle there. All right, I got y'all. So yeah, I mean, that's like the business structure, but there's so much more than that you got to take into consideration for these kind of things, guys. I just want everybody to know something, that it's not an easy thing to do. It's easy to get your, you could pay LegalZoom. If you have the money, then it's easy to get your business. But what happens then? Now you got to go to the bank and you got to make your bank accounts. They're going to charge you fees if you don't have a certain amount of money in there, or if you don't use your debit card from the account enough in 1 month, whatever the case is. And that's just the beginning of it. People like the saying, be your own boss, but a lot of people don't really understand that being your own boss means that you have to be just as smart about business and understand business, especially the business you're in, as you are about the actual thing that you do. If you're a photographer, for instance, I could speak well on that. If you're a photographer, right, it's probably like look on Instagram at photographers. I guarantee you there's tons of photographers that have beautiful pictures. They clearly know photography, beautiful photos, and they post them up. They might even have 50,000 followers, 100,000 followers. They're broke. There's a whole bunch of them that are broke because they don't understand the business of photography. You're a great technical photographer. You're amazing at it. You might have the best eye in the world. If you don't take the time to study the business of what you're doing, you will not succeed. And the business is actually more important than the product itself. Because the average person, most people don't know the difference. I could show you guys probably 10 photos that are all the same picture with slight differences. And probably, unless you're really a graphics arts person, visual person, a photographer yourself, you're as a regular person, you're not even going to probably see the difference at all. You're gonna be like, I don't know the difference. I'll see it. I know what it is, but that's knowing the business side of things. It's important for me to realize that you don't know what it is. And so how I market myself to you as a business is just as important, if not more important, than the actual quality of work that I give you from my business. And here's a big thing. If you're going to open a business and you're going to do something yourself, you got to ask yourself one really, really important question before you open it. First of all, you should be passionate about it, because if it's going to be your own business, and you're only in it for the money, you're going to wear yourself out long term. And you should definitely enjoy it because it's your business. But secondly, ask yourself, does it solve a problem? If it doesn't solve a problem, you probably shouldn't turn it into a business, because people don't just pay you for anything. They pay you to solve a problem. That's really the main thing that, people don't realize is an idea is great. But in practice, it's very, very difficult to make money unless you're solving a problem for somebody. So keep that in mind. And it could be a very simple problem. Most people don't think about photography, since I mentioned that as being a problem. That is a problem. It's a problem for a lot of people. It's a problem for a lot of companies. It's a problem for, there's a bunch of companies out there that don't know how to take photos, but they need headshots for all their executives for a website. Well, that's where a photographer comes in. You want your company to look good. You want a good representation on the web. If you're a law firm, anything like that, you got to hire a photographer. You need that. You might need a videographer for company events. Things of that nature. Usually these days, photographer, videographer, they usually know how to do both. If not, it's usually like a 2-person team that knows how to do both. But that is a problem. The problem is just a need. So it's a need for something. It's a problem because they don't have it. And the only way to get it is to pay someone that knows how to do it. That's a very simple problem, but it's a problem that everybody has. You got a kid, you want to document your kid's first birthday. That's the problem. How do you do it? You're not skilled. You're going to take out your iPhone and just go click. Most people today might, and that's a problem for the photographic industry. But later on in life, if they run across a really good photographer that starts taking good photos and they see the difference, and they're gonna be like, damn, I wish I did that when my kid was 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever it was, What's up, Edwin? So that's one thing. Another thing is being your own boss is all about marketing yourself. You are the product, because if you're your own boss, you are the product. You are the person that is going to be brokering deals with companies. And this is a big thing. It's about your presentation. Okay. I come on YouTube, we're chill. I'm chill with you guys. We talk, we do whatever, right? If I actually have to meet with a corporation or a company, I'm not going to wear these clothes. I'm not going to, I'm not even going to wear a hat. And I wear a hat all the time. But I'm going to go in there knowing that I'm walking into corporate America, trying to broker a deal for whatever. It could be for $10,000. If it's for $10,000, you think I'm going to wear this hoodie and this hat? I'm not. I'm trying to get that money, So I'm going to go into their world and do what I got to do to try to get the job. And, that's something that everybody's got to keep in mind. How you name your business is important. How you present your business is important. How you present yourself is important. So you're not only, Kiko's exactly right. You have to have people skills, it's not about, somebody might say, we this is like a New York thing, but I'm sure this can apply to anybody. It's like, we in New York, we say like cutting ass, and that's like joking on somebody, So I could say like, maybe I take pictures of people that are comedians, and that's like my job. And I could name myself Cutting Ass Photography. But if I take that name and I try to get a job in corporate America with it, they're going to just not even bother looking at me with that name. My family might laugh. My friends might laugh. New Yorkers might laugh, like in general, but that's not really a good business name, you know? And other things, people will really pay attention to your website if you're a creative type person like that. If you're trying to do, things like right now, I'm just starting to do that aspect of things. I'm not even like I'm building like 4 websites behind the scenes, and half my stuff isn't even up. Do I live in NYC? I do. So those kind of things are really important. I guess my major point is just don't rush. Really study the business of being your own boss. Doesn't matter what field you're in, you're going to have to do certain things to be your own boss. In my field, what I'm doing in general, most of the time requires a lot of talking to people, whether it's individual people, corporations. It's going to require talking to all those kind of people, and you gotta have people skills to do that. And you also have to put out a good product, you also have to hold firm with things too, because a lot of times people will try to lowball you, especially if you're in some kind of visual arts. If you're a videographer, photographer, graphic artist, you tell somebody this is my price to do this job, and they'll be like, oh, can't you do it for $100 less or $150? No, that's your price. Because the minute you do that, you are devaluing yourself. You are saying, I'm not worth what I'm charging, and you're letting your client know that you're not worth what you're charging. Let them walk away if they refuse to pay it. That's fine. The only way I could say you should ever do that is if you absolutely need the job and you're going to go broke without it. Then maybe you could take the less money. But I certainly wouldn't make it seem like you agreed to take less money. Like, you should try to play it a different kind of way. But yeah, I mean, it's interesting. The other thing is taxes, right? Let me talk about the taxes part of things. When you make a single member LLC, which is what I've done, that means I own 100% of it. Nobody else owns it. It's pretty easy. Taxes, I can now just say they pass through. All I have to do is file a form that says my business made $20,000 and my expenses for the business were $15,000 this year. My profit is $5,000. I have to pay taxes on $5,000. That's it. Do I sell jailbroken? No, I've never sold a jailbroken Fire Stick in my life. I literally, I hate Fire Sticks. I always have. Although the newest one is not that bad, but no, I definitely don't do that for a living. But yeah, I mean, taxes wise, guys, it's like you're looking at a simple thing like that. It's a simple statement that says, I made this much, my expenses were this much, I have to pay taxes. What you claim as expenses, you better have receipts for, because if you get audited, you're going to need to show those receipts. It's easy. You don't need to go crazy. Let's say most of the stuff you buy is on Amazon. You already have that transaction record. If you buy stuff on Best Buy, you have that transaction record. Just make sure that there's an online record of it, So it's, how much does it cost to start an LLC? It depends on the state you're in. Every state has different fees, and they also have different amounts of time where you might have to pay a renewal, things like that. So, look up your state and then start an LLC costs, and you should get information for that. Like I said, LegalZoom is, they charge you a bit of a premium for them to do everything for you, but they do a damn good job. So if you're doing a first time, that's probably a decent way to go. And also, everything that you see on there, I would research it so you know how to do it yourself later. It's just, if you don't, if you haven't done it,
Do you give yourself a paycheck in order to avoid self-employment tax, which is usually higher? You can do that. However, that's difficult. I can't do that because I have employment. I already have employment I have another job. So me personally, all I do is when there's enough profit in the bank account for my business, I actually take a physical check and I write it to myself and I cash it. And I just save those checks because that's the money I've taken out. That was my profit. Everything else I know goes back in and becomes an expense. But that might not be, there may be 2 months in a row where I write myself a check and then I don't write one for 4 months. Like I haven't written myself a check in like 5 months right now. In the last five or 6 months already that I haven't written one. So, but you keep all those checks and it's very simple for you to just say, this is how much I made, that I took out from this account. It helps a lot. Somebody said, I'm a professional handball player. No, man, definitely not. I played some handball in high school, but I was never that good at handball. What type of business do you have? I have a media company. So it encompasses all kinds of media. It could be photography, videography. Still said Chinese handball or American. What's up, Clayton? I have a media company. So, he said, that's true. Most people don't even know what handball is. You are absolutely correct. Outside of NY. They know about racquetball, but not handball. I liked handball when I was younger, but I was never very good at it. Serge, what's up, Serge? But yeah, I mean, that's another thing, guys. I mean, there's so much stuff, man. Like that's what I mean. It's not easy. And it doesn't matter what kind of business you're in. I'm using photography as an example because I know a lot about it and I've been in that field forever. Even my regular job is in that field, sort of. So it's like, what's up, Techno Tim? So what's up, Buzz? There's so much stuff that's, interesting about it. You got the taxes part. Single member LLC is easy. If you have a multi-member LLC, that's a whole nother story. You have a multi-member LLC, now you have to file a little bit more in your taxes information. And when you have a multi-member LLC, that means like you and 2 of your friends want to start a business, right? Who owns what percent? You got to figure all that out ahead of time. The money that comes out should go out in the percentage of ownership, unless you have to create a whole other agreement that then gets forwarded to the IRS. And that's to basically be worded properly to say, this is how money is. It's a lot more difficult. I don't want to butcher your first name, but hello, Dalton. I'm not sure how to say your first name. What's up, Brian? But yeah, I mean, that becomes a whole nother, it's still not that crazy when it comes to taxes, but, that's the pass-through method. You could always do S-corps. There's all other kinds of ways. There's all kinds of other ways to form it as well. You have different types of tax obligations depending upon how you choose to form that LLC. But first time, I definitely recommend, doing it yourself, making it a single member LLC. It's the easiest way to do it. You need a registered agent. That could be you, or you could pay somebody to be a registered agent. A lot of people don't really understand what a registered agent does if you start a business. All right. For a registered agent, they basically get all your mail. They basically tell you when it's time to, pay some fees. If you got fees coming up, they'll forward you important mail from the government. They will filter out your spam mail, things like that. And they become your record of address on the books. So when somebody looks up your business, they see their address, not your address. Unless you want your address to be there, then that's a different story. Like if you have a retail store, you would want your address to be there. But if you're, a photographer or a graphic designer or whatever that doesn't require you to sell a physical product, you don't necessarily want your clients all to know your address. So you would have a registered agent in that case. So that's something to look at too. Look up different ones in your state. That's one where I'll say I wouldn't use LegalZoom because they charge a lot of money for that. And you can most likely find one. Just look up registered agent in and then type your state. And you'll probably find one for $50. There's one in New York for $50. I saw one in Delaware for like $50, around that area. Buzz says I look 15 years younger again. I feel like I look older. I feel totally backwards from you guys. I feel like I look older without the beard. What systems do I use for finances, contacts, time spent? All right. So I use, that's another, these are all expenses, guys. I use the Google for Work thing, right? To do this is what I do. I go to domains.google.com when I'm going to create a business, and I own tons of domains. I just buy domains. Even if I don't if I get an idea in my head and I buy a domain just to have it, because it's like $12, like for a year to buy it. I go on and I buy it under my personal Gmail account, right? And then if you're going to create a business with it, it's very easy from there. You can then go ahead and get Google for Work, right? So I look like Jack Cousteau when I have the beard. So you can get Google for Work because you already bought the domain, and it automatically, because the domain is in Google, you don't have to do MX records or any of that. Your Gmail just works. Now you got calendar, contacts, all that stuff. You can go ahead and use Google cell phone service, and you can buy it from your company email. So you could get like Google Fi if you wanted to. That's what I'm using for my company phone. I use Google Fi, and I have a Pixel 4 XL. I didn't get the 5. I have the 4 XL, and that's my company phone. What is Google for Work? Google for Work is basically, let me see. I can't really show it to you because I'm using the webcam, but it's, I'm going to Google it right now. Go to workspace.google.com, and you'll see exactly what it is. It's like G Suite. It used to be G Suite. Your company email is a Gmail. You get a calendar. You can use their version of Business Hangouts, which is just like, it's called Google Meet. That's pretty much the same thing as like having a Zoom, but it's all built in. So you're getting all those things. You're getting Google Drive for your files, sharing, things like that. And you can get that for relatively cheap. Let me see what the prices are now. Find a plan. So there's a standard one for $12 a month. That gives you custom and secure business email, 150 participant video meetings plus recordings, 2 terabytes of cloud storage per user under that domain. So you can create multiple emails for more people, security and management controls, and then standard support. Oh, wait. They took me to business standard. Sorry, that was business standard. Business starter is $6 a month. That gives you 100 meetings, 30 gigabytes, 100 people in video meetings, 30 gigabytes cloud storage, your business email, and that's about it for $6 a month per user. Then you got $12 a month, which is giving you what I said before, 150 participants, plus you can record the meetings. Then there's one for $18, which gives you custom and secure business email plus e-discovery and retention, 250 participants, attendance tracking, recording, 5 terabytes of cloud storage. You get Vault, endpoint management, more encryption stuff. And then the last one, nope, that's it. Until you go to enterprise, that's if you're a huge company, but you're not going to need that right away. You could start with a $6 one, $6 a month. You could pay it for a year and be done with it. So, but it's good because normally, if you have a business, you might pay for Zoom, which is $150 a year to get a business Zoom account. They might have made it a little cheaper. When I bought it, it was $150. I'm paying less than that if I pay $6 a month. Even if you pay 12, it's still less than that. 12 times 12 is 144, right? Have I tried Monday.com? Yeah, I have not. So, you're getting a calendar for your business. You get Google Docs, Google Sheets, Google Slides, Google Keep for notes. You get your Google Duo under your business, so you can Duo chat with clients, things like that. You have your Google Meet, which is the big video conferencing, kind of like Zoom. And you got a Gmail, which everyone's pretty familiar with, for as little as $6 a month. It could be 6, 12, or 18, depending on what you need. And that actually saves you money. So Google makes good sense there. But you're still paying that. You're paying for the domain. Now you're going to need a website, right? In Google, that's why I buy my domains from domains.google.com. You can literally pay for Squarespace, Wix, Shopify, whatever it is you want to use.
I don't know how to help with that.
Yes.
Here are other things you can try.
It thinks I was talking to it. You can pay for those things right from Google, and then you end up with a really easy way to automatically have this website online working. It's the simplest way to do it, So I would highly recommend Google if you're starting a business as a simple way to get in and get things going. So you can pretty much set up the online presence you need just by starting off by buying your domain from domains.google.com. And it's basically the same price as everywhere else. A .com is usually $12 a year. They have all the extra extensions if you want. Like I have a .photography extension, which I think is $20 a year, something like that. And that's another thing. When you go to think about creating your business, right? You got to check and see if that website is available, if the business name is available, before you decide that that's your name. Before you start doing business under that name, you're going to want to make sure that all that stuff is available. For me, because I market myself, I am the product, even as a photographer, as a video, it doesn't matter what I do. On YouTube, I am the product to you guys. You guys watch me because you like me. If you don't like me, you're not going to watch me. So it doesn't matter if I'm Supreme Builds or Lee Talks Tech or whatever it is. If I make sense to you, if you learn from me, if you like the style of teaching I do, if I help you solve a problem, you'll watch me. If you don't, you won't. So it's really yourself. So I wanted to do like leeaaron.com. Unfortunately, there's some Canadian lady who's a semi-rock star who has leeaaron.com. And until she dies, I'm not going to get leeaaron.com. And she looks like she's probably a little younger than me, so I'll probably die before her. So I can never have leeaaron.com unless she gives it up. And she's doing pretty well for herself. If you go to leeaaron.com, she's touring and doing all kinds of stuff. So good for her. But I couldn't do that. So what did I have to do? Well, I'm doing a photography business. So I created leeaaron.photography. I also bought leeaaron.photos, stuff like that. And then I registered doing business as under my LLC as Lee Aaron Photography. So now I can take payments under that name, even though it's really still going to the LLC. My photography itself business is not its own LLC. It's just a DBA under my LLC. I may branch that off into its own LLC at some point, but not yet. Buzz said, you know who that is? Buzz? Some rocker chick? Tara said, damn Canadians. But you got to look at that. It's like all of those things to know before you actually even decide to start moving forward. You want to make sure you could buy the domain. You want to make sure software of choice, QuickBooks. If you got to manage money coming in, QuickBooks is definitely the best way that I've seen. And that's because once you have a business bank account, if you send her an email, Buzz, and tell her to give up her website, tell her I deserve it. But QuickBooks, you can actually link it directly to your business bank account, and it's super simple. Like all the transactions just end up flowing in there, and then you can categorize them really easily. So I like QuickBooks. And there's a lot of plans you don't have to pay for super expensive plans on QuickBooks. You can get the cheapest one that allows you to tie your bank account in, and you'll be good to go. Unless you're making like a fortune, in which case, who cares, buy the more expensive plan. But you don't need that crazy plan at first. But I would definitely recommend QuickBooks out of, the options. It's just the most automated one and has the most configuration. So I would go with that. It's and hopefully you never really need to use these things with like the IRS or anything. But if you do, having all these things already there is a huge help. Another big thing for business, it doesn't matter if you have the money in your personal account. If you need to make a business expense, transfer that money from your personal account into your business account and then buy it. Reason being is because everything then is able to be seen. Maybe you paid yourself money because you didn't think you were going to have an expense. So you wrote yourself a check from your business account. You put it into your personal. And now next month you have a sudden expense that you didn't realize. Maybe a piece of equipment died. You got to buy a new laptop or something that's like $1,000. You're like, damn, well, I have some money in my personal account. I could just buy it. Guess what? It's a lot harder to keep track of all that stuff if you ever do get audited, to go, oh, wait, this stuff I did in my personal account, this stuff I did in my business account. Just take the money, transfer it into the business account, and buy it from there, because everything is right there. And when you have QuickBooks, like I was telling Yaoshi, is you got QuickBooks, it's all right there. So you can see right in the QuickBooks, money came in from your personal account. That same amount of money was used to buy a laptop. That is now a simple, easy way to show that it was a business expense if you ever have to. So be very cautious about that. It's not illegal to buy things from your business, from your personal account. You can do that. But if you get audited, it's a whole lot harder to come up with all the proof, and you're under pressure and the IRS is talking to you and you're like, oh my goodness, and you're more likely to forget something. Also, take a drawer somewhere, save every single receipt you get. And, honestly, guys, I'm going to keep it 100% real with you. You can do certain things when you run a business out of your own home, especially, that you normally could not do. If your main office is in your home, like mine is, this room right here, right? I can write off a percentage of mortgage due to this. I can write off a percentage of electricity for this. I can write off a percentage of my cell phone bill if I use my personal phone. If I have a business phone, which I do, I can write off all of that bill because it's for the business. So there's a lot of things, and you want to have all these deductions because you're going to need them. Reason being is you are going to pay self-employment tax, which is 15% federally, plus whatever comes in from the state side, all that stuff. So if you do start a business, when you go to pay yourself, don't forget the taxes. You're going to say, oh, I haven't paid myself yet. Let me go see what I got. Okay, I got $1,000 to pay myself. Great. Don't write yourself a check for $1,000. You got a business checking and a business savings. If you want to be extra safe, take 30%, put it in the business savings. You probably won't need the whole 30, because by the time you get done with everything, you'll lower your tax bracket with your deductions. But if you want to be extra safe, take 30. But at the very minimum, take 15% out of that. Very minimum. And put that in the savings, and just imagine it's gone, because it is going to be gone, because you're going to owe that to the government. So then write yourself a check for the rest of it. And, because if you just go ahead and keep taking out money and you don't have expenses for that money, you're going to end up owing a lot of money, and you're going to be very unhappy when all of a sudden the IRS is like, you owe us $5,000. Also, if you come to the end of any calendar year with the IRS and your business owes the IRS over $1,000, they're going to now insist that what you should be doing is paying quarterly taxes, estimated taxes. If you do not pay quarterly taxes once you owe that money, you then can be fined by the IRS. Even if you pay them all the money at the end, they will fine you for saying that you do not run your business efficiently. All right. And you should have been paying them ahead of time and not owed all this money at the end. It's kind of weird. I feel like you should be able to pay your taxes however you want, but they can fine you just for that. So that's kind of interesting. What else when it comes to business? Like I said, the biggest factor that I think a lot of people, no matter what business you're in, that they that they get wrong is being your own boss is not easy. It's not glamorous, especially in the beginning. And it is something that requires you to have a lot of business knowledge. If you don't educate yourself on the principles of business, no matter what, but not just, it's one thing to be an excellent, I'm going to use photography again. It's one thing to be an excellent photographer. Like I said before, I know tons of excellent photographers. They're broke. I know tons of broke photographers. I know photographers that aren't as good as me that make more money than me because they have better connections in that field. I'm starting to make that a business now. So I don't have those connections yet. You know what I mean? I can easily get them. But I haven't even marketed myself out there yet like that because of COVID and everything. It's kind of hard I'm waiting. I'm just building up stuff right now. But those people understand the business side of it. They have connections. They know what it takes on the business end. But if you put them side by side with me to take a photo, I'll beat them. My photo will be nicer. And, that's not the toot my own horn. There's plenty of other people that'll take nicer photos than me too. But like I said, it's not all about that. You got to know business. If you're going to run one, you should know one. And most people really overlook that. Get some audio books, some regular books on running your own business, business mindset, all kinds of things like that. Just expand your knowledge. Most people invest in their business. So again, I'm going to use photography because it's the one I'm working on now. But investing in my business would be buying a new camera, buying a new lens, making my equipment better, buying new software to edit photos, to edit videos, right? That's investing in your business. But that's not investing in me. Investing in me, I have to remember that photography is not only my business. I am my business. So investing in me is buying a new book, is taking the time to learn things, taking courses online on the subject that I'm doing. It could be taking courses about the cameras that I might want to buy. It could be taking photography courses, but it's also investing in you. Never forget to invest in taking business courses to learn business, because that's an investment that carries with you no matter what. If your particular business venture fails, that knowledge doesn't go anywhere. That business knowledge stays with you for your next venture. So always remember that. Invest in yourself. That's just as important as investing in your gear and whatever it is you need. It's just as important as buying more paper for your printer, all that kind of stuff. So to study your competition is very important. It depends on your business, but yeah, in general, you want to know pricing that your competition has. If you're in a field that's competitive, maybe your strategy could be to be cheaper than them. Maybe it could be to be more expensive. If you're going to be more expensive than other people, you better know how to market yourself. Comes back to business. You got to know business. You need to explain to somebody in layman's terms why they should pay more for you than somebody else. That's something that is very important to understand. If you want to stand out, overcharging, not overcharging, but because, it depends on the business you're in, but charging more than the competition is making a statement. It's saying, I am better. You're expressly stating that when they see your price versus everybody else's price in your area for your business. Okay. Which means that you had better be a really good salesman and you better be able to deliver, because if you don't deliver anything better than the other guy and you charge more, your business is going to go down fast, because everybody's going to say, don't pay extra for that guy. I got the same job done for $200 less than this other guy. This guy didn't do anything different. Take accounting classes. That's not a bad idea either. Either that or hire yourself a good accountant. You might need one. At a certain point, definitely. Recommendations on business books. I can't really say. It's been a while, honestly, since I read a business book. I'll come back with some of those. Yeah, I agree with what Tara's saying too. Definitely speak to a lawyer. Photography, another example, contracts. There's Sell's getting some stuff in there for books. It's been a while since I read. I know there's a lot coming out now, so I'm gonna check out some things and I'll make some recommendations on some books though. But yeah, corporate lawyers, whatever it is that you're into, you can make a contract I'll use photography again as an example. Online, I can just Google contract model release form, right? And I could download that and just have somebody sign it. And you think you're good, but you might not be, because that's just a general model release form, which I'm sure came from a lawyer originally and it's been edited a few times to be very general. That's why it's online on Google. But the law in your state may have something slightly different that's not in there. You want to make sure you cover yourself in any kind of contracts you have. Also, you're responsible for other people. If I pay somebody to do video editing for me, I have to 1099 them. You know what I mean? At the end of the year, it's a business. It's legal stuff. So you're gonna have to pay them. They're gonna you're gonna have to get their information and give them a 1099, all that kind of stuff, and you got to have a contract for that. So there's a lot that goes into it. Then it's not. I'm just because you're good at something, does not mean that it should be your business. You need to know business for it to be your business. So I thought it was a good idea to just, express a lot of this stuff to you guys, because I've gone through it many times already. I've helped other people go into it, What's up, John? What's up, Sharon? And it's something that, being your own boss is not something like I got this little bit of, side income somewhere and that's it. Like, you're not your own boss because you got a side hustle. You're your own boss when you make your own company. That's when you are your own boss. It's a totally different ball game than having a side hustle. We all have had some sort of streaming side hustle, whether it's YouTube or whatever. I'm not my own boss because I'm on YouTube, unless that's my only job and I got tons of followers and I'm making enough money to live just off YouTube. If I could lose my job and YouTube paid me enough to live, I'm my own boss on YouTube. But guess what? YouTube still owns the platform. It's still not quite the same. As we can see, look what's happening on YouTube, right? So I'm my own boss to a certain extent, but YouTube is really the boss because they can tell me what I can and can't talk about. So that, am I really my own boss? If you know what I mean? It's different when you're, when you own your own business and it's an LLC or a corporation or anything like that. Now you're your own boss and you can do whatever you want. If you happen to promote your business on YouTube, that's different. But that's different than just saying YouTube is my business. So yeah, I mean, it's two very different things. So just keep that in mind. Don't rush into anything. Don't waste money. You can fall down a rabbit hole real fast, no matter what business you're going into, of wasting your money. And then you may have wasted valuable resources. It could have been the last things you had before you lost a job or whatever the case is. Take your time. Things may seem a little desperate at times, especially if you lost your job, stuff like that. But, be methodical, plan it, see it through, stop for a second, write down a strategy. It doesn't have to be super detailed. Just start here, get to here. What do I got to do in the middle? And along the way, don't spend the money, your own personal money, until you have to, because you never know when you might need that money. Unless you have the money to invest and you're not worried about it, you're good. But if you're in a really sticky predicament, like a lot of people are right now, and they're trying to maybe start their own, jobs because they can't get a job with everything that's going on, just be methodical about it. Don't immediately just go, oh, I'm going to spend today, $1,200 or $1,500 on something. Right now, I'm saving every penny I can to get new camera gear when it comes out. I'm also saving to get some more business courses, specifics to photography at this point, because I've already done a lot of business stuff otherwise. But, if I see something else that interests me, you got to, and there's so many ways to make money in every business, right? So many ways. So you got to look at it as really multifaceted. You really want, even if you create your own business, you want multiple streams of income from that business. If my photography thing takes off, I make a photography YouTube channel, right? YouTube can pay me money from that channel. Let's say, COVID ends, basically, the vaccine works, whatever the case is, and everybody's back out 100%. My photography takes off, doing great. start my YouTube channel, teach people a few things, maybe show them how I edit portraits or whatever, make presets. People could buy presets from me. That's income. That's passive income, very easy income, because I already created it. It's a digital product. Somebody pays, they get it in the email, done. Right? The hard part on YouTube is making the videos, having them look good, technically competing with other people as far as video quality goes. But that's one means of income. Now I got to look at it and go, maybe I could reach out to B&H Photo. They sell cameras and lenses. I could ask them to lend me something, and I'll give them a shout out and tell people, here's a link to buy in their lens, to buy this lens at their store. Whatever the case is, you build those partnerships. That's more money, affiliate marketing. That's all now a part of photography, videography. Anything you're doing, I'm using those examples, but it doesn't matter. You want to be a plumber? Make a YouTube channel about how to, replace an entire, house's plumbing, whatever it is, you know what I mean? Your multiple streams of income is just so important in this day and age. The photography is a perfect example because it's something that's hard to do right now, right? Outside, especially if you're photographing people, okay? So my business takes off, photographing people, making a lot of money. My business crashes because there's a new virus. God forbid, right? We don't want to see that no more. If I don't have the YouTube channel, what happens to me? If that's my primary source of income, I'm in big trouble if that's my only source of income. But guess what? I got the YouTube channel. I can spend more time doing that because I'm not out doing jobs, and I can generate more income on YouTube. I can do more affiliate marketing. I can do more of it because I already had those things in place. Don't put all your eggs in one basket, no matter what you do. Something is, like I said, as simple as a plumber, an electrician, anything you do, if you create a business doing it, there's an angle on YouTube. Everybody needs to learn something. Figure out a way to put it on YouTube, and get yourself monetized so you can get some ad revenue. Start a plumber, whatever, a certain pipe company, a store that sells fittings, local mom and pop shops, whatever it is. There's somebody you can partner with, somebody that if you drive business to their store, they'll give you a percentage. You got to broker those deals. That's all part of business. You want to make sure that no matter what happens, you have all these different streams of income to keep you covered in case one of those streams happens to stop. So business is no longer, when my dad was a photographer and my mom was a photographer, and they're, when they were my age and younger, photography was a business that just entailed photography. There was no social media. There was no YouTube. But since these things have come along, they're a blessing and a curse. Yes, they take way more time from us, but they also enable us to have these multiple streams of income that my parents couldn't have. So it also means you have to hustle harder, though. It also means you have to know more, because now you can't just know how to take a good picture anymore. Like I said, you got to know videography. You got to know how to make a video. You got to know how to do photography. You got to know the business aspect of social media. It becomes crazy, What else? Also, photography aspect. I don't know if Serge is still in here. I don't know what kind of, Serge was saying he photographs, so I don't know what kind of photography he does. But there's, I use a photography aspect for something. This is so true. Okay. If I want to, let's just take anybody, right? Let's say somebody comes to my website, or I know them even, maybe let's just take Sharon. Sharon's in here right now. Sharon says, Lee, I want you to, photograph, my a party or something, somebody's birthday, right? And I say, okay. I said, Serge is a dealership photographer, so you're doing cars. Okay, so that could work too. But you have a very unique aspect in this because you're already dealing with corporations. So my point is this, right? If I go and I shoot something for an individual, I'm not going to get paid as much as if I shoot for a company. Companies have more money than an individual person most of the time, unless that person happens to probably own a really big company, in which case they got their money from the company. But when you're photographing a person, and this will go for anything, if you're doing a plumbing job, you're going to be able to charge more for a company. If you're an electrician, you can charge more when you're doing stuff for a company. Companies want to pay companies. They don't want to pay individuals. So present yourself as a company when you're trying to get company jobs. What's up, D Johnson? But you got to walk in there like a company. and present yourself as a company. Don't walk in there and say, hi, I'm Lee and I take photos. You got to say, my business is Lee Aaron Photography. This is what I do. This is what I can do for you. And this is why I do it better than other people, and present yourself that way. And that's how you can secure those corporate jobs. You just got to get used to that. What's up, Sandy? But my point is, if Sharon wants me to shoot a party, she's an individual, and she'll probably say, I could say, hey, Sharon, I'm gonna charge $500 to shoot this party. And Sharon goes, oh man, I only got $350. That's all I could spare. And, could you do it for me or whatever? And let's just say I decide to do it. That's something I do. She's an individual. I understand people have, certain situations. You don't have to worry about that with a company. Every company has a marketing budget. Every company has all kinds of budgets. So you're just denting in that budget, and you can say, you can charge for the same thing. Company party, corporate party. You want a photographer? $1,000. I'll do your corporate party. Same thing. I charge $500 for to a person. You can charge double to a company easily. So think about it like this. Depending on what kind of photography you're in. See, I know a lot of people search as a dealership photographer. I know a lot of people that shoot cars on the street. I shoot cars on the street, modified cars. There's no real money in that, unless you just happen to get very lucky. You can get clout on Instagram, but that's not going to make you money. But shooting as a dealership photographer, you're dealing with a company. If other dealerships, depending on I don't know what kind of deal he has, but if he's actually hired by a dealership, that's different. But if it's as a full-time employee for one dealership, but if he's got corporate contracts at different dealerships, that's a much better paying job than photographing cars on the street, no matter how cool those cars on the streets are. That's because you're dealing with corporations. So let's say you are a portrait photographer, which I love shooting portraits a lot. I love people. And it's not all about money. I love shooting portraits to shoot portraits. But if I want to make money with portraits, I am not going to just go, okay, let me find a really pretty model, go take her picture and put it on Instagram and put it on my website. That's not going to make me any money. Nobody cares. They really don't care. It might make a cool thing in your portfolio, like one nice photo. But at the end of the day, you know what you should do? You want to shoot a really pretty model? That's great. I don't know. Put a Pepsi bottle in her hand. You shoot cars on the street and you actually want to make money shooting cars on the street instead of just shooting them for fun because you love it. Get motor oil and have a hot chick hold it in front of the car and then post that on Instagram and tag the motor oil company and tag Pepsi and tag all those people because you set up a really great shot and put a product in it because you want the money from the company. That girl in the picture isn't going to give you any money. The guy who modified the car isn't going to give you any real money. So you got to think outside the box for things like that. And what might happen is you're on Instagram, whatever. This is how social media can help you is you're on Instagram. Let's just use the car and the motor oil, right? You tag Castrol or whatever, and then boom, Castrol sees the picture and goes, oh, that's awesome. And they post your picture. Guess what? How many followers did you just get? Now, when Castrol actually has an advertising campaign, they've got your photo saved. They might go, hey, let me send them a message. Hey, can we get you to do this for us? How much would you charge? Or we'll pay you $5,000 to do this advertising campaign photos for us. Great, I'm in. Let's go. Something as simple as that. Instead of just taking a picture of a girl with a car, you know what I mean? Now you got a girl with a car with motor oil, and the motor oil company is very happy because who doesn't love pretty girls and cars and motor oil? That sounds great to most dudes, for sure. Something that'll sell. But there you go. So you became exclusive. That's good. You got a secure gig in there. That's nice. But yeah, I mean that's the thing. You can still use the stripper washing your car. Yeah, I mean, you could do that. Have her hold some motor oil. Maybe the explosion of the motor oil and you catch it. You know what I mean? Things like that. Or just let her pour the motor oil in for you. Catch those kind of photos. You got to always think outside the box. You might love to take pictures of people like I do, but if I want to make money, I'm not going to make a lot of money just taking pictures of people. You can, don't get me wrong. If you establish a really good portraiture business, you can make $200,000, $250,000 a year shooting portraits, once or twice a day, and working, probably an average of 5-6 hours a day. It's not a bad living at all, but that takes time, takes connections, it takes a lot of stuff, and to get there. Whereas if you, and let's say you do that, let's say, we'll take the girl that I photographed from my car that Kiko likes to reference. We take her, and I did those photos. She's just with my car. Subaru, who my car is made by, doesn't care about that photo. I tagged them in the photo. They don't care. Why? Because my car is no longer their car. Yes, it's their car, but I changed everything in that car, and they know that. You know what I mean? So they're not going to be like, oh, that's great. But I tagged some of the people whose products were on my car. Those people care a little bit, but that's the kind of stuff you got to think about. Yeah, I'm taking a photo, and I wanted to take this photo. I love automotive photography. I love taking photos of models, great. But how can I turn that into something business? And that's where your business acumen comes in, where you need to learn about business and say, how can I do that? And apply that to everything, man. You do a plumbing job, maybe you really like a particular company, company's piping. And you're like, oh, I always use this company piping. You put it on YouTube, that company sponsors you, boom. And you're always, referencing their piping. And every time you do, you get paid. It's just more money for your business, another avenue for money. There's a way to do it for everything. I know the photography ways, so I use those as an example, but you could tell me any job, and there's a way to do it. You just got to figure that out and put that in. Other than that, you got to be very careful about business partners, understand how each of those, Subaru OnlyFans channel, there we go. You got to understand how each of those partners could affect your tax situation, your business situation, how you want to pay people. Are they just private contractors? Are you going to actually give them health insurance when you run it? I mean, there's so much stuff to think about. If you want to start a business with friends, right? Like I did with Cell and our other friend Potelu, we made it where we were each 33% owners of Fight Rant. That's how we did it. And, that's fine because we've been friends since high school and we figured we aren't going to fight about that. We never made any money, so there was nothing to fight about. But, who knows? Maybe we would have if let's say we were 33% owners each, right? You think it's a great idea because you're doing it with your friend, but you make 6 out of 10 videos and your friends are slacking off, right? At that point, is Cell going to be like, hey, we made $10,000 this month, but I did 60% of the work, so I want $6,000. Am I going to be okay with that? Is Potelu going to be okay with that? If it's the other way around, is Cell going to be okay with that? You know what I mean? So you don't really think about those things. That's why if you guys watch my thing with Rojas and Next Level, I said I commend them for doing that together because they're going to have these problems. It's going to happen. And I hope they, settle it properly. But people run into those problems, So you always got to think about those things. And that's all the way in the time of creating the business. It's so far ahead. You haven't even made any money yet. And you got to think about that if you're trying to bring a partner in. What else can I talk about? It's at the very, depending on your business, honestly, guys, it's at the most, it's 50% what your business is, knowing that business, like knowing the technicalities of that business. I'm not talking about the business aspect of that business, right? It's the other part is all actual business knowledge. Who or what is Potelu? Potelu is my friend from high school. He was with me and Cell in our Fight Rant. Potelu stands for like light pole in Dominican, like light post in Dominican. He's a real big dude, so we called him Light Post, like the street light post. Yeah, I agree with you too there. So says you got to be consistent and determined, never worry about what people say. You can't worry about that. I honestly apply there's certain aspects of things. I always said on YouTube, I don't compete with nobody. I never competed with what anybody else was doing. I hardly watched what anybody else did when we were just talking about streaming stuff, right? But in photography, you do have to, I still don't really compete with people directly, but you have to know what they're doing as far as pricing, at least, and things like that to get an idea of things. You know, you can't be too outrageously more expensive than somebody else, and you don't want to be way too cheap either. You know, but always think of the corporate angle, because, you know, most people spend their lives working for a corporation, working for a company. And at the end of the day, when you do that, it's fine, especially if they pay you good and you live and you're happy with that. That's great. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you're a creative type person, like a photographer or whatever, you know, even I'm sure it's probably the same for plumbers, you know, and stuff like that. Although they have unions, so it's a little different. They, you know, the unions protect them. So it might not work the same way, but definitely for a creative person, like somebody that's in that creative field of, you know, whatever, photography, videography, art, visual artistry, compositions, any of that kind of stuff. When a company hires you, you're getting paid maybe whatever, $60,000, $50,000 a year. Your work is making them millions of dollars if they're a big company. Like you're contributing a decent portion to their work, making them millions of dollars. So in a way, you know, if you look at it that way, and that's something that you care about to an extent, you're the type of person that should probably start your own business and try to, you know, make that into your profit instead of the company's profit. Because what happens is you're going to go back to the company, but instead of working for them where they get to set your salary, you get to charge them what you want for a job. And, you know, another good thing, you know, is just working on your own schedule, your own time. You don't want to work a particular weekend. You need to take a weekend off. You got a vacation to go on. You can do all that. You know, you don't have to worry about your coworkers already got that vacation day locked up, you know, all kinds of things of that nature. So it's something that's a beautiful thing, but you got to have drive. Don't waste your time and money. If you don't, you got to be a hustler. Like, you really got to hustle to make that work. In my case, I have a slightly different scenario than most people because I was able to do this while still maintaining my job. And I didn't have to go as hard as fast. I could take the time to learn things a little bit slower. But I realized that this day and age is not the same. So I said, let me come over here, and maybe some people will see this and get a little bit of insight into things that you want to think about before you go spending all your money. You know, but I'd say the biggest takeaways from what I said today: make sure you invest in yourself as much as your business, because you are always your business when you are your own boss and you own your own company. So that means investing in health. That means investing in understanding business. Spend money on courses, spend money on books for just that don't even have to do with your particular business. Just understand how business works. Spend money on things that save you time, like QuickBooks. Once you're making money, you don't need QuickBooks right away. You know, spend money on things that just help you, you know, that allow you to spend more time doing what you got into the business to do in the first place, because so many other things come up that it takes away from your time. So if you're making a decent amount of money, hire an assistant to handle your QuickBooks, hire somebody to do something. If you got the money, just make sure you figure out how you're going to pay them, you know, independent contractors. So they're freelance, then you don't got to worry about things as much. That's a little easier. Because, you know, then if you hire them, then you got to start holding taxes for them, reporting that to the government all the time. There's a lot more on your plate. But maybe that's the right thing to do, depending on who it is. Maybe it's not. You figure that out with that person and with what you can do for yourself. You know, those are the real important things to really think about. So, but, you know, invest in yourself just as much as your business. I got to buy all of this camera equipment, but while I'm doing that, I'm becoming a member of, you know, other places, other sites where I get insight into things, specific instructions for all kinds of stuff, more general broad contracts that I could customize further myself. You know, all kinds of things like that. Yep, Sharon said you get to work with the man instead of for the man, and that's what you want. You know, that is, you know, not everybody wants that. I shouldn't say that's what you want. Some people Some people are very happy working for the man. I was happy working for the man for a long time. I had a child very young in my life. I was blessed and happy to have the job I had to be able to, afford to pay her, to pay for her and have her have a good life. Yep, McMahon's got a good point. Trying to afford healthcare and owning your own business can be expensive, and that's very true. If you own your own business and you don't have anybody else in your, if you don't have, like, for me, if I lost my job, my normal job tomorrow, luckily my wife works for a company that would give me health insurance, and they're a very big company with a union, and it's good insurance. So then I could 100% always be my own boss. Right now I'm my own boss for my own company, but I'm also, somebody else is also my boss for my regular job. I'm living both, but and listen, my job is great security. I've been there 20 years. I still love my job. I love what I do. I hope to keep that job, but I'm realistic. All of these things that I do are in preparation for the day that I don't have that job, because I do not expect to have that job until I'm 65. And if I just sat on my ass and hoped to have it till I was 65, I'd be in for a rude awakening. I got a mortgage to pay. I got a family. I got all this stuff to do. I'm being proactive ahead of time and saying, I'm going to have all this stuff lined up, all my ducks in a row. So the day that happens, I go on my wife's insurance, which is great. And she's in a field that's never going to die. It's an essential, she's an essential worker during all this time. Like, everybody, she works for an electric company. Everybody needs electric. You know what I mean? Like, that's not going to go anywhere. So, she has a very secure job. Thankfully, these are all blessings to me, because, this allows me now to say, I can't be my own boss when that day comes. I look forward to it in one aspect and I don't in another, because like I said, I spend most of my life in my job. It's not fun to, be told, okay, it's over. You know what I mean? So, but think ahead, guys. If y'all got any questions now, feel free to ask. If there's something you want me to elaborate more on, talk about, any of that kind of stuff, I'm here. But I mean, that's pretty much what I had to say. That I'm sure I've forgotten, and didn't remember every, situation I've been through over time, things of that nature. But, I would strongly advise everybody on YouTube, you can go and research, how to start your own business. Just type that on YouTube. You're going to get all kinds of stuff. Type in on YouTube, LLC versus, versus DBA. Type in, you can listen and watch, which to me I like that better than reading personally. But there'll be books. There'll be all like learn that stuff. It doesn't matter what business you're thinking about going into. But to McMahon's point about the healthcare, if nobody else has it in your family and you can't get it anywhere else, that's another very expensive thing to think about. But if you can't get a job, it's going to be the best thing you could do. Yep. See, String Sharon says she has a family member that has their own business but still works a great high-ranking salary job because of the great healthcare benefits. Honestly, that's a hard thing to it's a hard thing to give up. There were times in the past where I was unhappy at my job, and I'm glad I didn't quit. But I had thought about it at certain points when things got a little crazy for a while, and leadership changed hands, things like that, and I'd be like, I wasn't having fun at work anymore. And I'm like, am I ready to do this on my own? My wife didn't have the job she has. That healthcare kept me there too. And I said, I can't. My daughter needs healthcare. God forbid something happens to my daughter. God forbid something happens to my wife. I'm the only person with healthcare in this family right now, and I can't lose that. So I stayed. And at the end of the day, I'm glad I stayed, not just for the healthcare, but because of the way things turned out. I've been there so long that I'm now just like, I want to be there till the end. And I probably will be. Like, the day that print stops for this company will be the day they tell me, it's been a good run. We appreciate you, and I want to be there for that. I feel like I've been there so long and I put in so much time and effort, that I want to see it through in a way. That's just the type of person I am. If they let me go before that, they let me go before that. What can I say? But if they don't, I would love to be there till the end. Just because, it's just who I am. If I ride with you, I die with you. That's how I am. So, and I rode with them for 20 years. So I'd rather stay on the boat until it dies. You have a lot of knowledge to be young, man. I'm not that young, but thank you. Oh, you know what? Side note, folks that are in here, let me tell y'all something about young man and old man stuff. I know I'm not that old, but I'm not that young either. Kiko said you're gonna ask me to go watch. They won't give me one of those. That much I know. But I have been very bad, okay? Because throughout this pandemic, I haven't worked out. I haven't done anything. I got a gut, okay, that I didn't used to have. If I'm being 100% honest, I was developing that gut even before the pandemic started. But it got definitely a lot worse. We were ordering food all the time and, not going anywhere. I was sitting on the couch working for 12 hours a day. I was very inactive and I started to feel it. I really did. And just this morning was the first time, I'm going to be totally 100% real with you guys. First time I worked out since in over a year, to do anything. And all I wanted to do, I said, I got to do some cardio. Okay. I literally did I YouTubed beginner cardio at home just because I knew I hadn't worked out in a long time. I said, I'm going to take it easy. I found a 30-minute cardio video, super easy in my brain. Guys, I'm 40 years old. That was not easy. By the time I got 20 minutes into the 30, I wanted to stop. I pushed myself through to the end of that. And I said, this is bad, man. If I was 25 and I didn't work out for a year or do nothing for a year, no problem. So keep moving. If you guys are young, start now. Do 30 minutes 3-4 times a week. Make sure you do it. Little aerobics. You don't got to work out. You don't got to pump iron. You got to move your body. Don't be like me. All right. I didn't move my body and I'm going to end up paying for it. It's probably going to take me 3 months to 6 months before I'm I feel normal doing 30, 45 minutes, an hour. If you're still young or if you're getting older and you move, don't stop moving because that's the worst thing you could ever do. I stopped moving. And even at 40, I felt it big time when I stopped moving. Even just the little things that I did, driving to work, I would have to walk from my garage I'm not doing any of that stuff, Kiko said it's all downhill from now. It is downhill from the day you're born, brother. Well, I mean, you could say you have more fun at certain ages, but, from the time we're born, we're working towards death, unfortunately. But you can do the best you can for, trying to just move, man. You don't got to be, it doesn't have to be anything crazy, some jumping jacks, some back and forth, a little bit of aerobics, something, some high knees, whatever it is, just do something for yourself. So important. So I just naturally, when it comes to movement and I hate working out, so I get lazy with that, and that's the worst thing you could do. It does, like I said, it doesn't. I don't care about weights. I don't care about muscles. I just care that I want to be able to jog for 30 minutes and not be that's horrible. That affects every aspect of your life when you can't breathe, when you are any kind of physical activity, and all of a sudden you're like, oh man, I feel like I got it. That's no good. You can't be like that. Before my wife got her current job, she used to work for a physical therapy office. And she used to tell me all the time, I see people that are 55 years old, got 2 knee replacements, hustling hard, working hard because they always moved and they take it well. And they were always moving. They're good. Another person, 55, didn't do any exercise at all. Needed some kind of hip replacement, knee replacement. No moving. They crying, whining, so much pain, can't do it all because they didn't move. And you never know what's going to happen to you later in life. So, or even earlier in life. So if you're moving and your body's in decent shape, you got, a little bit of stretching, a little bit of cardio, that's all you really need. Just at least do that. I'm telling you. Another thing I'll talk to you guys about. I had a friend pass away that I went to high school with. He was 42. He just passed away January 9th, I think, or 7th. Can't remember. exactly what day it was. Great friend, like we weren't as close um, in our adult life as we were in high school and our early, I practically lived in this guy's house from, I don't know, 17 to 22, something like that, maybe. Um, and it wasn't that he wasn't active or anything. He was always a big guy, like, overweight his whole life. Very strong guy though, man. Uh, but he ended up, moving to Chicago, had a family, beautiful kids, young kids, pancreatic cancer, man. Just, out of nowhere. And he's got a 7-year-old and a 3-year-old now, and his wife is a widow out of nowhere. And I just, that kind of just got me going. I gotta, I gotta move around, like I know his situation isn't the same as mine. He took a lot of walks. He was doing, the right things. He just had a terrible metabolism and terrible genes. And, it's, like Kiko said, he's a big guy and the pandemic is not helping, but the lockdown has gotten me really, it is, man. A lot of people feel that way. Like they feel very depressed with the lockdown. I would say, if anything, if you can do anything, man, like you go to the park, enjoy a nice view of the city, or something, sit down on a bench for a while. If you like playing cards or something, maybe go with a family member, just play some cards, sit on a blanket, something to get outside, absorb some sun. I think that helps a lot of people. That would be my advice. Whatever you can do to get out a little bit. It kind of sucks right now because it's freezing out, but in general, like when it's not so cold, that, and that's the thing. See, like McMahon, he says he moves a lot of his job. My job has me sitting here, whether I'm in the office or at home. I'm sitting in this chair, and yeah, it's good to I stand up. I do the stand up, sit down, even though I don't have a stand up, sit down desk. I still stand up, and I stretch, I do whatever. But that's not really cardio. It's not keeping you in shape. A little 30 minutes when you start your day, 3-4 times a week. Good. That's all you need. Just do that. If you take one piece of advice for your own personal health, mental health, that helps everything. Little 30 minutes of exercise to start your day. You have more energy after a while. You're gonna feel sore at first. It's gonna suck if you don't do it regularly, but just start easy if it's not something you normally do. Definitely look up on YouTube for a little 30-minute thing that's for beginners. Try that. Don't go too hard. If you really feel a problem, slow down, but just keep moving until you get used to it. I see y'all talking about line dancing and then pole dancing. You guys are terrible. But that's true. Pole dancing, line, all of those are good things for you. But yeah, I mean, that's my bit of advice for the evening. I just, I wanted to share that with y'all. Yeah, see, Cell got some stuff going on. It's right, man. I slipped up big time on that. That was my fault. I was never somebody that liked to work out at all, but I used to move a lot, and I used to, run, and I liked sports. So, but as I got into my 30s, I slowed down on all those things as far as personally doing them, and I still did them enough where at 30, 35, I'm like, okay, I still feel okay. I don't got to be all that crazy about it. But then I really felt it once the pandemic came in, and I was just like, whoa, this feels different. I don't feel good. I feel bad. Take care, JJ. Hey, there you go. Build some Lego sets. Absolutely. Keep your mind sharp. In my mind, I'm 21. I think I'll be 21 till the day I die in my mind. I'm still a kid at heart. I'm still, super ambitious, imaginative, anything I could think of that I'll try, anything that seems like a good idea. I'm a little more wise than I was at 21, but I still have that same spirit for life, but my body told me, you ain't 21, brother. You better start working out a little bit. So Yeah, that's true too. So video games, they might give you a little arthritis as you get older, but especially thinking ones, stuff like Portal, things like playing chess, whether it's in a video game, regular, stuff that exercises your brain is great. But yeah, I mean, that's really it, guys. I'm sure I forgot some things. And if anybody has any questions, feel free to answer. I'll stay on like 10 more minutes to like an hour and 45 minutes in. If you guys got questions about anything, feel free to ask. I identify as a 20-year-old. Absolutely. I identify as a 21-year-old because I do enjoy my drink every now and then. I don't drink much, but I do enjoy them when I have them. I mean, I drank at 22, but to keep it all above board, I'll identify as a 21-year-old. That way I can legally do everything I want, practically. But it is important, man, as you get older. It's so easy. The funny thing was, right, I have a friend who's 25 that I talk to almost every day, and in this group chat on Instagram, another one who's 29, and I told them my story today, and they were laughing. And I said, here's the video. I sent it to them. I said, go do it. One of them doesn't do anything. He's just like me. Like, he's in a chair all day, every day for his job. I said, I bet you can do it, and you're going to be like, this is so easy. But you do exactly as much as I do right now. So think about that. He's 29. I said, I'm 11 years older than you. In 11 years, you'll be me. Start now. Make it easy now so that it's still easy when you're 40. Don't wait till you're 40 and try to do it, and it's hard. You're going to – 40-year-old me wants to kick 25-year-old me in the ass and say, you should have stayed more active the whole time. Have I had a chance to check out the GTV? I have not. I need to get on that side to do that because that has all the capture cards. I don't have any capture cards on this machine, although maybe I could plug one in. I might try to figure that out with a little USB hub or something. But I'm actually working right now. It's just really dead. Tomorrow, you guys won't hear from me. It's going to be a super busy day tomorrow. But I figured, well, it's not too busy right now. It was busy earlier, but right now it's fine. It's definitely coming up, though. The GTV will be the first video I do back on the other side. But yeah, guys, any other questions, feel free. I'll stay on until an hour and 45 minutes. It's about an hour and 38 right now. So another 7.5 minutes. If you got questions, ask. They could be business questions, any kind of questions. I am here. But I'm trying to think if I forgot anything that I really wanted to say. I can't think. I kind of just jumped in and did this off the top of my head. I never script out anything I say. I just go, but, if you really take away one thing from it, whatever business you're in, figure out how to make multiple streams of income out of that business, or maybe get involved in other businesses that are also related to that business to create those multiple streams so that you can maybe cut out a middleman here or there that when it's involved with your business directly, whatever it is that you can do, you're going to want to do that because times are changing. And it's important to really understand business because I think there'll be more people that are coming up today. I mean, even in my age, that'll be starting a business for the first time. And especially people that are, 18 to 30 right now. A lot of those people are, a much higher percentage of those people are going to be going into business for themselves than my generation or the generation before me or after me, because that's just the way things are now. These companies have no loyalty anymore, most of them. They're, people are expendable. That's kind of the way things are going, and it's the way they've been going for a while. So even in my job, like on the print side, I feel the love from them. I don't feel like I'm just, but we have a lot of digital stuff. I know how to do digital. They don't give me an opportunity to do it, though. And I get it. It's a business decision. They could hire people straight out of college and pay them 1/3 what they pay me to do a digital job. Why would they have me do it? But to me, I'm going, I could help a little bit right now. And if the print side ever died, you could put me in charge of something on the digital side because I could already show you that I know. That's what I think should be happening. But that's not how they see it. When the print dies, I go away too. That's how it'll be. But So I'm preparing for that. And I suggest any of you guys out there, evaluate your situations. And if you don't have a super secure job, start thinking about things like this. What can you do? What are you good at? Learn the business side of that. Be ready. I'm not saying go out and spend your money. Like I said, take it slow, especially if you still got a job. Be cautious. Watch lots of videos, read books or audio books if you hate reading, whatever it is. Just get that knowledge in your head, because the knowledge always stays no matter what job you have. It doesn't go anywhere. And so that's investing in yourself comes first. Investing in your business comes after that. And sometimes those are one and the same. And that's when you're doing a really good thing. So, yep, that's true too. So start a hobby. You never know. I mean, for me, photography was not a business, but it was my parents' business. So it's not quite the same as a regular hobby. But good night, Yo-Yo. But it was a hobby for me anyway. But I just knew it on a professional level without actually being a professional pretty much my whole life. I just didn't actually put the work in for my own self to say I'm a professional at this. But I've known it since, I have a knowledge of photography that goes back to the time I'm, 6, and I'm 40. So 34 years of photography knowledge. I literally made a pinhole camera for my science fair in first grade. That's a true story. So, yeah, replacing gas vehicles with electric. But that's the thing, McMahon. Like, and that's the hardest part, right? Things change. Everything changes. So the gas vehicle creates a lot of jobs because people got to refine oil. You need oil for gasoline. You need all kinds of stuff like that. But the electric vehicle creates jobs too. It's just different. What I think should happen is that the people that currently work in that field of oil should be some of the first to automatically get trained on how to deal with the differences in electric. And that way they can transfer those jobs over. As they start losing jobs, they move over, the economy stays stable like that. That's me. I don't run the country, but that's what I think. There's the right way to do things and wrong ways and ways in the middle that are some partially right, partially wrong. We just got to hope, unfortunately, for the best. And you got to be proactive. If you're in that industry, if you're in the oil industry, in gasoline industry, you got to be maybe teaching yourself about, maybe how the electricity works in those batteries, how to manufacture those batteries. Maybe you come up with something, something else to do with the carbon footprint, chargers, whatever the case may be. You start studying those things. It's a cruel world out there, Oh, I know it's not that simple. I'm generalizing it for sure, Tara. But it's never that simple. But I guess my point is everybody's got to try. If you see the boat is sinking, like me, I know my regular job is sinking. You know what I mean? I got to try something, whether it's in the same field, whether it's the transition to digital. I could say I still want to work for the media. I'm going to go to digital media and I'm going to start working on that. But then I looked at that and I see how they pay people so much less for that than what I make. Not worth it. At that point, I'm like, that's dead to me. I'm not going to do it. So proactively looking for something else now in a completely different field. It's definitely not fair. It sucks. There's like I said, a lot less loyalty, and certain industries are heavily affected. Certain things are, jobs are going to be lost everywhere. Yeah, that's true too. The robot is replacing the line worker. That happens in automobile factories every day. A lot of things are done by robot that used to be done by line worker. The robots replace cashiers at every CVS across the country. There's all kinds of that. But that's business doing what business does. In all these fields, whether it's oil, whether it's just the supermarket, you got all these self-checkout lines. Now you got to pay in New York. You got to pay for a bag. So you got to start looking at how to be your own boss. I think like more people got to look at that, because you're not going to get the money from the company being a cashier, because they're trying to get rid of all the cashiers. They even got robots that clean up messes. Have you guys seen those? Like a robot with a bunch of cameras that goes up and down aisles in the supermarket and like sees that there's a mess. Have you seen those things? They even got that. It's like, I think it's named like Wally too or something. Like, it's like a weird name and it's so weird. I'm like, why? Like, you really can't hire someone to clean a mess? Like, to spot one? You can't. Some of this stuff is very strange. Like, some of them I'm like, this is totally unnecessary. You don't need this. But that is what it is. You know, that everybody's looking to save money. It had started a long time ago at my job. Even we had paid, my company paid something like $42,000, right? What's up, Next Level? My company paid something like $42,000. The boss before me from my department bought this software. It was to try to automate all the color corrections for images for the paper. And he talked to me about it. And I liked the dude, but I told him before he bought it, I said, don't buy that. It's a waste of money. There's no software that's out there that can ever automate the way a person does the images. And when you are, at the time, you know, we were working for a tabloid paper primarily. This is what they bought it for a tabloid. I'm like, the pictures are what sells a tabloid paper. Your pictures need to look better than the competition's. This is going to be a waste of money. Nonetheless, he bought it. He didn't take my advice. And he had me try to set it up. And I tried. And I had to make these set profiles. Yankees blue, Giants blue, Mets blue. So no matter what, somebody still had to be there clicking a button to go, oh, that's a Mets photo, Mets blue. Oh, that's a Yankees photo, Yankees blue. You might as well have just did the work yourself, you know? So it never saw the light of day in production. $42,000 wasted by my company. And, you know, we tried it out for a day or two, like on some behind the scenes stuff. And the photo editors were like, hell no, this is terrible. So I was very thankful, because if that had went through back then, this was like 10, 11, probably 12 years ago now. If this had went through 12 years ago, I'm sure I wouldn't have my job anymore. Like, if it actually worked well, because they would have been like, we don't need you. You know, you're the Mr. Design Man, Mr. Color Man. We don't need you. Since then, though, my department has merged with another department, and I take on all responsibilities for that department and learned a whole new skill set. So that made me a little bit less expendable as, you know, things go down, which is good. But, you know, it's always something, guys, always something, you know, and just don't sit and wait. If you really feel like something is going down and you know that your industry is in trouble, or you know that your company's in trouble, go ahead and start looking for other means of income and start putting a plan forward towards that, because the last thing you want to do is be caught out there with nothing, you know, and you can't say, like, you know, people will say, oh, you only have yourself to blame if that happens to you. That's not true. You may be spending so much time for your regular job, like I do now, that it's so hard to do other things. But, you know, you can at least be thinking about it. You could at least, while you're still getting paid from your job, go, maybe I can start this other business. Maybe I can invest in myself and understand the business philosophies. At least start that, you know? Yeah, stock market's a big thing too. I mean, I invest a little bit in the stock market. I don't go too crazy with it, but, you know, take care, Kiko. Always, my brother, stay supreme. But that's another good thing to, you know, check out, learn about. Just don't go too crazy on it. You know, obviously buy low, sell high is the way to go, but learning how that works is a little difficult sometimes. Next Level Slammer work. Yeah, my man. Don't worry. I'll be back on. We'll do more of that stuff. We can talk more about it. I'm actually about to sign off. I already passed my 145. It's about to be 150. But I hope you guys, you know, learned something from the conversation. It's a little different. I wasn't teaching you guys about streaming today. But it was something important to me that I said, you know, because I was actually doing some stuff for my business today. And I said, man, all these lessons have brought me to this point right now. Let me just go and share a little bit of that with people. So if they're thinking about it, or if they're in that thought process of maybe I should start, you know, maybe I can help somebody along the way with at least a couple of facts. You know, a couple of my experiences that might save you some money or some time or some stress. And as always, feel free to reach out to me if you got questions about business. I'm here to help you guys with anything I can. If you're on this channel, Doesn't, I know we always primarily did streaming, but don't matter. Whatever, if I have knowledge on it, I'm happy to share it with you guys. Somebody asked if I'd done any drone photography. I have not, but I do want to get into that. The problem with drone photography for me is it's completely illegal in New York City, which is so terrible because I think we can get some amazing drone shots in New York City. I saw Sony came out with a drone that actually holds their full frame cameras. I would love to get that thing and fly that around. That would be amazing. But hopefully one day I can do that. But the only reason I haven't is because it's illegal. If it was legal here, I would have done it. But there's like zero excuse. You can't fly a drone anywhere. Like, it's terrible. Like, the law is so bad. You're welcome, Arnie. But yeah, guys, as always, ask me any questions, man. Like, anytime, email me, ask me on shows. If I have knowledge on something, I'll pass it. If I don't have knowledge, I'll say, I'm sorry, I don't know. But if I can help you guys in any way, that's what I always do. That's what I'm here for. So on that note, I'm going to get out of here. I don't know if I'm going to go on Twitch, but I'm going to play some video games. I might go on Twitch. I might Twitch stream. Definitely follow the Twitch that Sel linked earlier and Sharon also linked, because I'm going to actually do shows just like this from the Twitch channel. But those shows will talk a little bit about streaming because they don't have the same kind of exact rules that they got, on over here. Like Twitch, I can't show things over there, but they don't say you can't talk about them at all or, tell people things. Like, you could talk, you just can't show stuff. So I'll be able to at least talk about it. Over here. The rules now are like, you're not even supposed to talk about it. So it is what it is. So follow the Twitch channel. It's not just going to be gaming. We'll do shows just like this on Twitch too. All right, guys, take care. Stay supreme as always. And hit me up anytime. I'm here for y'all. Love you guys. Have a good night. I will check my messenger and y'all be good. All right. Stay safe. Stay supreme. Talk to y'all soon. Peace.